Welcome back to Maximize Your Influence. This is Kurt Mortensen. We've got some great stuff today. The best and worst Super Bowl commercials, just based on persuasion, not likability, but on persuasion. Let's take a dive into the Super Bowl commercials. And if you're out of the country, it's the biggest sporting event in the world. And so companies spend $4 million a pop for these commercials, and some hit home runs and some bomb out. So a lot of people watch the Super Bowl. They're not even football fans or American football, not the normal world football, but American football. So let's go from best to worst based on persuasion. These would be the Ninja. Because you might laugh, but did you remember it? Did you buy from them? Will you ever buy from them? Will you ever give them a chance? That's what makes a big difference. I'm looking on the persuasion side of these Super Bowl commercials. First ones we got to mention, Bud Light. Bud Light did a joint venture with HBO. It was great use of the Zeigarnik effect. Now, what the Zeigarnik effect is, you remember things that are unfinished, that arouse suspense or intrigue or curiosity. And Bud Light did their standard dilly-dilly commercial, Middle Ages, but all of a sudden a dragon came in, and it was a joint venture with HBO, the Game of Thrones, and the dragon came in and pretty much burned everything up and announced the new season of Game of Thrones. So that one was persuasive for people that are in those worlds. Also, Bud Light did another one with corn syrup, kind of ripping on light beer and Coors Light, that they don't use corn syrup, and that was kind of an interesting one. So Bud Light did some research. They were probably one of the most memorable ones. Another great one was Pepsi, More Than Okay. Had some star power with Steve Carell, Little John, Cardi B, and it was very memorable. It was a lot of fun. And it was a good use of social validation with the star power and used some humor. They also used Michael Bublé, who is, I think I got that one right, a famous singer, to promote their new bubbly drink. And so another star power. It's called social validation. You like them. It's funny. Connects you with the products. So Pepsi used a good form of social validation, connecting star power with their product. Great use of humor was Amazon. Not everything makes the cut. They're getting some bad PR lately, and they were looking for some humor and some good social connection. Humor does that. It connects you with people. Even though it wasn't really marketing anything, it worked out pretty well. Now, they've done MRIs with these commercials, different Super Bowl commercials, not necessarily this year. And the ones that are most memorable are the ones that are emotional. That's what people tend to remember. And that award goes to Microsoft. They did a heartfelt Super Bowl spot with kids with some disabilities. And they have this new Xbox adaptive controller that anybody, regardless of their disability, can use their equipment, can be gaming with any other kids. And it didn't matter if they had any disability. They win the emotional award, and that's probably one that's going to have the most impact because that's what people remember more. Now, humor's good. People remember that. But people have a hard time connecting the good laugh and humor. Then you ask them later, what company was that? And they can't remember. So those would be the best. Now the worst, and let's learn some persuasive principles here. This would be the blunder. Homer?
Don't!
The first one would go to Turkish Airlines. They had this video, as a promotional video from a famous producer to celebrate, I think it was 85 years of Turkish Airlines. It was all put together, but a confused mind says no. I didn't know what to do, what it wanted me to do, where to go, what they were promoting, if I should purchase an airline ticket. Again, it was interesting what they did. They put a lot of money into it, but it didn't really persuade me to do what they wanted them to do. Then the bad subconscious trigger award goes to Mint Mobile, who did Chunky Style Milk. Now, that we all know that 95% of persuasion influence involves a subconscious trigger of feeling. I like it, I don't like it. I trust them, I don't trust them. Colors, smells, visuals, how close you stand, gestures, word choice. We've talked about this. Anyway, they were talking about this internet provider, Mint Mobile, and drinking Chunky Style rotten milk. They're trying to make the correlation that if you do that, you're probably paying too much for your internet, but it just gives you that feeling inside. It's a bad subconscious trigger. And that bad feeling would also go towards the advertiser. The did not cut through the clutter award goes to Wix. They help develop websites. It was just a basic commercial. They've probably run it before. Maybe it's polled well in the past. But you have to understand the expectations of an audience. They come to watch commercials and see where you rate and how good it is. Does it make them laugh? Does it make them feel good? And this was just a standard commercial, and it did not stand out. It did not meet expectations. Even though maybe on a normal television night it might work well, it did not for the Super Bowl. And the award for being incongruent or triggering the wrong emotion goes to Kia. Now, this commercial starts out with this kind of sad music, and they're talking about, we're not famous, we're not stars, we're completely unknown. In fact, my son-in-law thought it was a commercial for depression or suicide. I mean, that's how it started. And that kind of picked up. They talked about how they make great cars. It was a commercial for Kia, and it picked up from there, but it just triggered the wrong emotions. And they talked about how they build great cars that do something great, but just the way it started, it was incongruent and did not ring true and was not persuasive. So there you got it, the best and worst, not by likability, but by persuadability of the Super Bowl commercials. I will leave links on those at MaximizeYourInfluence.com or email me at Kurt, K-U-R-T, at MaximizeYourInfluence.com. That's also a place to go to take your persuasion IQ, get the free book Maximum Influence, or check out some of the training programs we've been putting together. Remember, we're on iTunes and YouTube at Maximize Your Influence. If you're watching us on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment, share it with your friends, let us know what other tools you want to hear. Persuade with power.